What's up, martial art friends? How you guys doing? I'm Jay from EZ Wing Chun. Today we're gonna continue on handling grappling situations. Topic today is quite interesting because people don't take it seriously, even though it's a major problems in any style of martial art. You know those kind of demo where the guy just grab your hand and then you move and then you do a fancy stuff, the guy fall down in a cooperative manners. Especially you see that a lot in Aikido gyms, those kind of things. People always laugh about it and they don't understand the real value of the lessons. In terms of science, isolated method is the best way to learn new skills. You have to do it isolated so that your brain can catch up, so that your brain can learn things. For example, if you're a new white sheet of paper, I throw you in a chaotic situation, you screw, right? Because you don't have those techniques. How can you do it? That's why it's very important to focus on the tactile, the pressure, you feel anything. You kind of like fine-tuning your techniques. Because in the real fight, you don't have the luxury to do so. The funny thing is people always laugh at Aikido, and boxing do the same thing, but they never laugh at boxing, right? Like when I first started doing boxing, the first month I just do isolated footwork. I don't even, get allowed to punch. And then the next 2 months, then I'm allowed to do isolated punches, each hand. And then after that, like after 2 months, then I'm allowed to do combo. You know how long it takes for me to have a first spar? It takes me 6 months. Before I do boxing, I was training karate for 8 years, but my coach doesn't care. He's like, you gotta do it, otherwise the door is right there. So I was like crying in tears and okay, and then I just do it, right? My point is the isolated method is a true value, but you need to grow out of it to test your skill. That's all. Instead of offer you a set of fixed techniques and I pretend that it's gonna work, I'm just gonna straight honest with you. It's not gonna work because in the flick of a second, you don't have enough time to think. So my way of doing it is using jisao and feel the guy's hand. And then I just go left and right. That's about it. Now we move on into the application part. Number one, remember never fight back. No matter how hard you try, it's just not gonna work. And in this example, I exaggerated it so that you can see it. Even with 2 hands, I cannot get out. So remember, be relaxed, right? Be respectful. If the guy takes something from you, then just give him what he wants. If he wants your hand, then just give him back. But you just give it in his face, right? Well, try to be respectful. That's why we learn martial art in the first place. So when he grab onto you, you want to relax it and let him have it. Then the other hand, you try to attack him, you try to punch him. That leads to the second point. Regardless of your fancy techniques, always punch. Because no matter how good your techniques is, it's gonna waste some beats. And just a half of a beat is enough for the guy to punch you in the head, because nobody gonna just grab onto your arm and stand there, right? They're gonna come grab your arm and try to punch you. That's why when he grab your arm, punch right away. The way I do it is I start with isolated method. It's look dumb though, like the guy just grab you and then you just stand there. It's look dumb. But when you get the stuff inside your nervous system and then it become your reflexes, now it's interesting, because when the guy grab your hand, you don't try to fight back anymore, right? You're now relaxing and absorb the things, right? After you be able to do that, then the guy allowed to punch you in slow motions. It's not realistic though, but why you have to train it? You have to train your awareness. You don't want to focus in here. You want to spread your focus, right? And then aware everything. Because in the street, there's just so many people walking by and you don't know who is his friend, right? It's different in the ring where you just have one opponent to focus on, right? So you need to learn your awareness. It's the same concept as driving. Like when you first drive, you have to focus on the wheel. But as you get expert at it, and then you don't focus on your wheel anymore, but now you drive better because you just have better awareness. After you can do that, then the guy allowed to punch you fast. So now it's still not realistic though, but it's close. When the guy punch you fast, then you work on refining your techniques, right? Make sure it works when the fast punch comes, because nobody gonna punch you in slow-mo. And then after you refine your techniques, now you want to test it. Now we come to the fun part. That's the whole whole road to thrive. It takes a long ass time to do it. So I was looking up on YouTube and I see this guy who was like testing a bunch of like self-defense techniques, and he has a good intentions. I respect that. He just want to validate those things so that people can look on that and learn it, right? But I don't think that easy, man. Like first of all, you need to train it so that it in your nervous system. Not because you're an MMA fighter, you be able to fight. Then you can, okay, I can do this stuff. This doesn't work like that. Like, not because you're a professional athlete in soccer, that doesn't mean you can go into basketball and test a basketball skill, right? It's a different game. Also, like when you test it, you have to test it as a whole, and the flaws come in right there. You cannot control an isolated, variables. That doesn't make sense, because in the street, the opponent allowed to do whatever he's want. He allowed to punch, allowed to bite, allowed to grab, allowed to kick you, right? Allowed to pull out the knife, allowed to call his friends, allowed to like pretend he doesn't want to hurt you, and then he actually just like hit you, right? I kind of sidetrack a little bit because I just feel like it's crucial for you guys to understand it, right? Next week is just gonna be about different range. Like after he passed your weapons, then he come close to a grappling situation. What should you do? The different ranges is just a backup. Like let's say when you're drunk, when sometimes you're just tired, right? And things came up. So the guy passed your floppy punch, and then what should you do now? These kind of things, right? But it's a very, very interesting topic. And WingChun have a very good strategy for that. Okay, I see you guys next week then. EZ Wing Chun